We're going to do the Goober Midge. This fly started out as a caddis, but if you look at a caddis or a midge, what you'll see is that they're just a tube, and that's what this represents from underneath. I'm going to use an 1180 Daiichi size 18. We're going to use superfine dubbing. It can be an underwing of micro, not regular, but micro lateral scale, and then just a little bit of hair, just short fine deer hair. So the thread I'm using is a Danville 6/0. I like these nylon threads for smaller stuff because they stretch a little bit. Most of the flies I tie I use GSP, but it doesn't stretch and it's not as easy to anchor. So I'm going to start out with just a really thin abdomen. I'm using superfine black, and just gonna, and this fly, just like with the caddis, is tied in thirds. The back third is will be half of the abdomen. Getting a little bulky there. It's just right on the edge. Now, this first thing I'm going to put underneath here, this underwing, is this microlateral scale. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 strands. If I'm tying a single, I only use 1 strand, just like I've got it right now, right on top. Wrap forward 2 or 3, pull it back, 1, 2, 3, back. So I just want a little bit, and that's going to represent the wing. Even though it's got a hair wing, this is going to be that reflective part that's underneath there when you look at one. And if I'm doing a cluster, what I saw is with this fly is if you do a cluster, you can just do, I use 4 strands. If I'm doing a single, just one adult, I just use 2 strands. If it's a cluster, I leave a few more a little bit further back, because it looks like when they're mating, and that's what you're seeing, is you're seeing a single female with 3 or 4 males jumping on her, and that's that rolling cluster that you see. And all you're seeing is, you just get more reflection. You've got more wings and you've got more body, so hence the cluster. So you just build it up. You don't have to do anything other than make a little bit bigger wing. Now I'm going to stack this short fine deer hair, and we're going to measure this up so it's just slightly longer than that than the underwing, I mean. We're going to set this in here so it's nice and tight. We're going to give it 1, 2 pulls, not letting go, and I worked right through it. I'm going to come forward now, and there's my little wing. I'm going to, if you notice, I came up to the front third now, because I'm going to go back over top of the wing butts and come back to make the body. Just trying to keep them relatively close to the same size as the abdomen behind, because this is really all abdomen. It's just that we're putting the wing in, because what the fish sees on this, I got a hair trapped in there. What the fish sees from underneath is just the tips of the wings sticking back. And so what we're going to do is just show the tips of the wing. From underneath, all you should see is just a tube. Now I'm going to take a 1 size on all my mayflies. On most everything I do 1 size bigger hackle. This is just really a cheap grizzly hackle. I use grizzly on all my midges. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. And like I said, this is 1 size bigger. So this is size 18. On a hackle gauge, this hackle might look like a 16 or a 14. That's fine with me. Especially with a midge, there's a lot of movement to a midge, and it's their legs moving all over the place. And so I'm not afraid to have at least 1 size, if not 2 bigger. I start at the front. I'm going to come back, catch that, go behind that wing, or that hackle, excuse me, come forward. Now we're just going to do 3 turns of hackle. So there's 1 right straight over top, and I like to see the 3 if I can, right inside there. 4th one's a trap. That's going to get that one's going to get cut out. And get out of there. Got a little crazy there. A few extras. It's alright. We'll pretend like we did that on purpose. Whip it off. Snug it up. Now we're going to come underneath here and we're going to cut all these bottom hackles off. We want it to sit right flush down in the film. And ideally, when it's all done, when you look underneath here, all you're going to see, one or two extras here. Well, I'm going to quit messing with it, but what you're going to see from the bottom is that you're just going to see a tube. It's hard to see because the vise is in the way, but the tips back here, that's what the fish sees. It'll see a tube from the bottom, same with your caddis. Tube, it's going to see a little reflection here, see that lateral scale? That's going to represent the wing. This is going to float it. This is going to look like the legs like it should. This fly is virtually impossible to sink, by the way. You can skate it, and all you're seeing from the bottom, is like the fish does, is the tube. Just a little stick. That is the Goober caddis and the Goober Midge.